What's going on, gang? It's your boy Phantm. Oh man, it's an interesting day, guys. Happy Wednesday, first and foremost. A solemn Wednesday as well. I don't know how we move forward as a people right now, as a country, as a unified America, as a nation. We the people, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. United we stand. Just explain to me how right now are we supposed to stand united? How at this moment in time are we supposed to think everyone has the same rights? How at this moment in time are we supposed to think that everyone has the same liberties? The same freedoms? The same obligations and duties and responsibilities under the law? How at this moment in time can we think that? How at this moment in time can we feel like we all matter? How at this moment in time can we feel like Black life matters? How at this moment in time can we feel like women matter? Like men matter? How at this moment in time can we feel like anyone matters? I just want to know. I just really want to know, guys. Just talk to me. Just tell me how things can change. Tell me how we supposed to move forward right now. It's your boy Phantm. This is his Ghetto point of view. Wednesday show. Bringing you the news, views, previews, and reviews with just a twist of my Ghetto point of view. I don't know what to do right now, guys. People on earth wonder what a black life worth. A bottle of juice is no excuse, the truth hurts. Please don't shoot when you see. I'm taking from him because for years they've been taking from me. Now the tables is turned around. You wouldn't listen until a nigga burned it down. R.I.P. Tupac Amaru Shakur. R.I.P. Tupac Shakur. Much love to Afeni Shakur. Much love and well tidings to his whole family. And I know that's controversial to some people, but love to Asada Shakur. Love to Afeni Shakur. Love to Mumia Abdul Jamal. Love to the entire Shakur family. That was a bunch of Black Panthers doing work. Love to the Black Panthers, period. Some whom after 50 years behind bars are still serving sentences. Will never be free, will die in jail. Will never be free, will die in jail. Indictments came down today in the Breonna Taylor case. Indictments they prepared the people for by blocking off a 25 block square block radius around the central part of Kentucky, by boarding up the courts and the Capitol buildings and all of the main municipal buildings were boarded up, locked down. A state of emergency was declared for Louisville, Kentucky. A state of emergency was declared for Louisville, Kentucky. Now, I don't know about you. You could tell me if I'm way off base here. But a state of emergency order being placed in lieu of what they anticipated was the reaction of the people is telling me that they were already telling you, telling me, telling we, telling us that they had no intention of indicting those officers. At least with nothing of any real severity. They were not going to charge those officers with anything that would appease or quell the angst, the anger, the aggravation, the frustration, the tension of the people. The anger of the people. The sadness of the people. The depression. The feelings of hopelessness. The feelings of hopelessness. The feelings of anxiety. The feelings of a dream yet again deferred. The feelings of being a caged bird, singing, crying out for a fair chance. I know why the caged bird sings. What happens to a raisin in the sun? What happens to a raisin in the sun? What happens when you sit and wait and fester and bake and boil and broil, waiting for some level of fairness, some level of equality, waiting. Malcolm X would call that a powder keg situation. America is a powder keg ready to explode. You see groups like the 3%, the NFC, Oath Keepers, Keepers of the Oath, Keepers of the Faith, Huey Newton gun clubs. You see these groups forming, galvanizing more leaders, more members, more leaders in other areas. More flocks for those leaders in more areas. You see the groups galvanizing themselves, arming themselves even more, getting larger, getting fiercer, getting more disciplined, getting more trained. And you have to ask yourself, what happens to a dream deferred? What happens to that raisin sitting in the sun under that heat, festering, dreams unrequited, never happening, never looking like there's any hope or chance of them even happening or occurring? What happens to that caged bird singing songs of freedom? What happens when hope is gone? What happens when there's no more hope? What do you do when you have 16 million people who've given up on hope? And you have several million more who've also given up on hope. Do you have civil unrest? Do you have civil war? Do you have rioting in the streets, looting, pillaging, plundering? Will there finally be some type of resolution? Will there finally be some type of amends? Will there finally be some type of atonement, some type of restitution? Will there finally be some type of atonement? Or will it just continue to be more of the same? Because more of the same is a problem. More of the same a lot of people can't deal with right now. More of the same, we don't want to see where more of the same goes. We don't want to see where more of the same goes. This can't be it. As Jay-Z so eloquently said in his song, this can't be life. This can't be life. This can't be love. There's got to be more. This can't be us. This can't be life. And as Drake said, everybody dies, but not everybody lives. Everybody does not get an actual chance to experience a life of freedom. A life of joy, a life of happiness, a life without constant fear, constant worry, constant stress, constant anxiety, constant tension, constant sadness. Everyone does not get to experience that. It's like, what are you going to do? The next time. I don't think people will have enough patience to wait to see what they would do a next time. I think this may be it, guys. And I really hope not. But I think these last few nicks at the situation may indeed end up being some of the last straws for this said situation. And that to me is tragic because we all Americans. This is our land. This is my native home. And as such, I should be able to feel like a native in my native land. I should be able to feel like a patriot in my native land. I should be able to be patriotic in my native land. Everyone who looks like me should be able to be happily patriotic in our native land. We love America. Absolutely, unequivocally, beyond a shadow of a doubt. No qualms about it, no bumps, no bruises. I love this country. I love everything this country is supposed to stand for. And unfortunately, I had to say supposed to because, as Langston Hughes has put it, unfortunately, this country has never lived up to its ideals. Sadly, this country has never lived up to its ideals. What is the 4th of July to a slave? Why is it 2020 and those words still hit so hard? What is the 4th of July to a slave? What is freedom to the oppressed? What is freedom? What is liberty to those who are in bondage? What is liberty to those who are in bondage? What does the 4th of July mean to a slave? What are we talking about here, guys? What the hell is going on in this country? When will enough be enough? So for those of you who are unaware, the Breonna Taylor verdict came down today. The indictments, I should say. The charges were arraigned. Of the 3 main officers who were set to be indicted today, one of the 3 officers was actually charged with any crimes. Wanton endangerment, which is reportedly a Class D felony, which holds with it a maximum of 5 years in jail and or a fine of between $5,000 to $10,000, depending on the state and jurisdiction you're in. Kentucky being a commonwealth, the laws are a little different. 5 years, $5,000 to $10,000. So this young lady's life. Yes, I understand that her family got a $12 million settlement. I get all that. After the lawyer gets his share, they may have taken home 7.5. Pay some taxes. Let's say they get around 5 or 6. Free and clear. That they can use to build some after school programs, do some things in they sister, they daughter, they niece, they grandbaby, they wife, girl, like to do some things in her honor. Is $6 or $7 million really worth them never seeing that girl again? Some people just say, yeah, give me the money, yeah, man. Some people say, damn justice, we got paid. Who cares if them officers stay on the street? We got $12 million, you know what I mean? After everybody took their paper, bro, we still ended up with like 6 or 7 or 8. I. But there's now a person gone who will never be here again. We'll never get to hug. her significant others, won't get to have children, won't get to try to make any impact on society. Won't get to grow, won't get to evolve, won't get to mature, won't get to impact life, won't get to share memories, share dreams, share goals, share ambitions, share desires. She will not enjoy a penny of whatever they brought home of that 12 million. She will not enjoy one dime because her life is gone. Her life is gone. Her life is gone. Because, according to Vice reporting, the particular police task force in her jurisdiction are working, allegedly, with the new management companies who are tasked with renovating and remodeling those areas and turning them into medium income, some high income, some low income, mixed housing. So that area allegedly has been targeted because it's prime real estate now. So Breonna Taylor may be going out this world because her home was sitting on prime real estate. Breonna Taylor may be going out this world because her home sat on prime real estate, but she doesn't pay prime money for it. She didn't pay top dollar for this choice piece of land, which wasn't choice until recently, until they needed to renovate, until they were ready to gentrify, until they were ready to relocate people, until they were ready to see the beauty in the area. Now, because they see the beauty in the area, they see the financial opportunities, they see the capital gains and the growth potential, they see what it could be in 10, 20 years. They execute these plans, allegedly, in conjunction with these management offices and these renovation offices and these development teams. Allegedly, these developers allegedly were leading the police task force and pointing them to where to concentrate their resources, concentrate their efforts, and focus their policing. So now this young lady, who, whether she was currently actively involved in working at hospitals or not, some reports say she was working at 2 different facilities. Some reports say she wasn't working at the time. This is a young lady who at least tried to endeavor in these activities, tried to be a good, upstanding citizen, a positive pillar of her community, a lifesaver, a healer. Women is always trying to heal and uplift and close wounds. Build bridges. Aid in trauma. That's all you do when you work the type of jobs she was working. EMT techs, training to be a nurse's assistant. You are ideally, now it may not always happen, but your goal is to heal. You are becoming a healer. You always had it in you to heal, to be positive, to be helpful, to be productive, to be upstanding, not just to be neutral, not to be a deterrent or someone who takes away, someone who leeches off, someone who's a vulture, someone who's a pariah, someone who's a plague, someone who's a sickness, someone who's a disease. She was a healer. A healer, family. And at EMT Tech, you are treating traumas of people at scenes and in perilous situations. People who have hurt themselves, people who have been hurt by others, people who were in an accident, people who were intentionally hurt, people who intentionally hurt themselves, people whose lives are in your hands on a daily basis at work. Your job is to have people's lives in your hands and figure out some way to keep them from dying. Your job is to heal, to make people better, to treat their ailments, their sicknesses, their traumatic conditions. This is what she did. This was her profession. Now, again, whether she was actively involved in that profession at the time this happened, to me, that's null and void. To me, that's not important. Because this is a young lady who endeavored to try to do these things. Was she doing them at the time or not? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. And I will allow people who will be better suited to investigate that in-depthly into the scenario and the situation to present that information in full at different later times. But if we're going with the general information that's been shared, this is a young lady who was really striving to do good in her community. Took herself through regular school, secondary school, got into healing trades, y'all. And I hate to keep emphasizing that and running that back, but how is somebody who made it their life's work to heal people going so young? How? The amount of lives that she could have saved, is that just worth the $6, $7, $12 million? Because now you're not talking about just her life no more. You're talking about everybody she would have impacted. You're talking about everybody her hands could have healed. Everyone she could have guided through a hospital doorway. Everyone she could have put on a stretcher or a gurney. Everyone whose hands she could have held, whose head she could have rubbed and told them they'll be fine. Everyone who she could have given instructions on how to heal themselves because of the technical proficiency of her work. Or because of what she studied in school. Or because of what she learned and studied. Or because of how dope she was at her job. Everyone who now would have been healed by that young lady, their lives will never be the same. This is a ripple effect through time. This has a ripple effect through time. Everyone who she could have positively affected is no longer with us. And you could say the same on the other end. Well, anybody she would have negatively affected is not going to be affected either. Ha ha ha. And you're absolutely right. Anyone who she would have affected either way, positively, negatively, or just with just neutral interaction, will now never get that. But those ripple effects completely alter history. The ripple effects of those type of activities completely alter history. If someone was supposed to be saved by her hands, they will never be saved by her hands now. And now you have to hope that someone else will be in that place to save whoever she was destined to save. But when you're talking about places like Louisville, Kentucky, or smaller cities, smaller counties, smaller towns around major Louisville, major areas like Louisville, how big is their budget for medical professionals in the first place? How big is their hospital budgets? How big are their EMT budgets? How many private EMT companies do they have? What's the city budget? What's the state budget? What's the county and town budget for these things? How much did it taking that one life away completely impact the city, the town, the county, the neighborhood, the district? This is tragic, y'all. So anyway, one of the officers will be facing a count of wanton endangerment. Benjamin Crump, attorney for the family of Breonna Taylor, stated in a tweet today that count of wanton endangerment is only for the fact that bullets went through her home from the officer's gun. So because he didn't look at what he was firing at, he just fired through walls, fired through a door, fired through windows, he just fired into a home. That is wanton endangerment. He wantonly or, recklessly endangered this woman's life. He recklessly endangered life. I agree, he did. But it didn't end there. It did not end there. It did not end with just life being in danger. It ended with life no longer being here. It ended with life no longer being here. It ended with a beautiful young lady, an intelligent young lady, an active member of her community, no longer being alive. How does this make sense, guys? Tell me how we make sense of any of this. Tell me how we understand any of this. Tell me how we move past any of this. Tell me how any of this is allowed to go on. What the hell are we talking about? What the hell are we talking about? So, y'all declared a state of emergency. Got everything set up. Pay they family money. And then tell us, well, because the bullets went through the home. That's definitely endangerment, guys. And that comes with a penalty of 1 to 5 years and a $10,000 to $15,000 fine. More likely around the 10 grand range maximum. So you're talking about 5 years in jail at max and a 10 grand fine. And a life not here, and all of the people that person would have impacted. Will now never get that. I don't know, guys. I don't know about y'all. I don't know how y'all feel, but I think that is the most insulting, the most degrading, the most despicable, the most intolerable action possible. I don't know how we continue to move forward as a country. I don't know how we continue to move forward as an indivisible country with liberty and justice for all, with these going on. Where is the liberty and justice for everyone? Where is the liberty and justice for everyone? How is this liberty and justice for everyone? The other two officers who were mainly deemed responsible for this interaction could have faced manslaughter. But as the DA for Kentucky stated, there is no evidence to do that. They were justified in firing into the home, which is interesting because if you're saying one of the officers wantonly endangered her firing into the home, how do you wantonly endanger somebody but then you're justified in murdering them? How? Just explain to me how. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You endangered this person? They are in danger. But your murdering of them was justified. And there is no evidence that Breonna Taylor had a firearm in this entire altercation. There is evidence that her husband, fiance, boyfriend, whatever title you want to put on this man, the woman she was sharing her life with as this transpired, she was sharing her life with, the man who was her partner in life as this was happening, decided he needed to protect his home, protect his family, protect his wife, his bride, his fiance, his girlfriend, his queen, his partner, his better half. He decided he needed to protect his better half and the home that they had with a legal, registered firearm. It was declared that there was no no-knock warrant. So there's no no-knock warrant. So then that man was justified in firing. He also gets shot in the leg and then has to do jail time. How does this make sense? Make this make sense to me, guys. There's no no-knock warrant, meaning they have to knock. And if no one comes to the door, they have no authority to go in. Zero authority to go in. Zero authority to break the door. Zero authority to destroy any of the property to gain access, because they have no legal right of entry. They have no legal right to force access. They force access anyway. They force access anyway. They force access anyway. Because they feel like they have the right door, they're at the right house. Whatever these small details that they're not handling, cops don't handle small details all the time in all types of cases. And because many of those cases are huge, major cases that jumpstart or elevate careers of everyone involved, the officers at the scene, their supervisors, higher ups in administration and positions of authority in the precinct, everyone gets to move up and look good when these things happen. Mayor's offices, people in city councils, people in local Senate seats, people in local House of Representatives seats get to all move up on cases like this when they go correct. So no one cares if cops don't always dot their T's, dot their I's, and cross their T's, and check every detail over 1,000,000 times. Because very often, cops have huge success rates. I mean, let's just be honest. Cops have very high conversion rates. Cops, 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 will have the right door, the right suspect, the right perpetrators, and they will, even without doing all the things, sometimes they don't even Miranda people. They in such the thick of things, in the heat of the action. Sometimes those things come back to bite them in the behind, sometimes they don't. If the person is overwhelmingly guilty, many things that went wrong will be ignored and overlooked. If the person is overwhelmingly guilty, many times these things will be completely swept under the rug. And if you don't have a good attorney, the defendant doesn't have a good attorney, the defense team doesn't have good counsel, it'll be very hard to use those things as your defense. We've seen tons of instances where people sat in jail for years for crimes they did not do, and had to get the right legal team to bring all of those technicalities before the right judge, before the right jury, before the right magistrate, before the right group of individuals to get the justice they deserve. So, had that house been full of drugs and guns and gang members, had they been trafficking children, had they been trafficking weapons, had they been soliciting, had they been, prostituting young ladies, prostituting young men, had any of those things been going on in that house at that time, we wouldn't be talking about none of this. This would have been a blip in the news. People locally may have been mad about the young lady passing away, but all of the questions would have been, well, why is this young lady who's doing all these EMT jobs and stuff allowing these things to go on in her home? And people, let's not play games. Let's not pretend to be shocked like we don't know of several people who have good jobs, good homes, pillars in a community, who have family members, husbands, wives, nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, uncles, aunts, who, let's just say, don't play by the rules that society would like them to play by. We see those situations go down all the time, where you have somebody who's quote unquote the clean person, the person who can have a bank account, has a job, can file taxes, can justify large sums of money. And many times, underground funding will get funneled through these clean people because they can justify buying a car. They can justify buying a house. They can justify, as long as they, I've been saving up, bought a house, bought a car, took a vacation, renovated the home, renovated my basement, bought a pool. They can justify where they're getting the income. So we've seen situations like this all the time. Young ladies will be the clean person of the front person. Young men who are the clean person of the front person. And people just using them or in cahoots with them to do things. Sell drugs, pimp, prostitute, make fake IDs, trafficking migrants. I mean, literally, the list goes on and on of what is done, and we all know this. So I say all that to say, had any of that been going on, none of this wouldn't even be a conversation. But the fact that none of that was going on, none of it, I don't give a damn what they allege her boyfriend, husband, fiance, significant other, lesser half to have been doing. Other half, I don't care what they allege him to have been doing. The man had a registered legal firearm, which means whatever was on his record, it did not stop him in that state, in that commonwealth, from being able to own firearms legally and have them registered to the state as a responsible firearm owner, a responsible gun owner. This is clearly a man who goes to the range, who keeps his firearms in good condition because he hit the officer. He hit the officer. The report is not he sent out several shots in a wild, brazen fashion. No, the report is he fired a few rounds and hit the officer. So this is a man who arguably was using more restraint, more self-control, more accuracy, and more precision, allegedly, than some of the officers at the scene. Who was protecting the residence him and his significant other, his better half, was staying in. He is now shot in the leg. His leg is damaged. Hopefully he recovers from that. He may have to do time in prison. Extended long time in prison for self-defense. Whatever else they allege. After that, what can I say about that? Nothing. When don't they allege something? When don't they show your criminal record? When don't they bring up your past? Jacob Blake went from breaking up a fight with 2 girls to allegedly not even supposed to have being there, where he was barbecuing, allegedly, to having a knife in the car and this bad history of violence and abuse, etc. And I'm not saying he doesn't have a history of violence or abuse. I'm not saying he hasn't hit women, assaulted people, etc. I'm not saying any of that. What I am saying is none of that was going on at that time. And now that man can't walk. And none of the things that they allege were found at the scene of Breonna Taylor's house. Because had they been found at the scene, had drugs been found, had any real huge amount of drugs, narcotics, any real illegal, illicit drugs, cocaine, meth, crystal, you know what I mean? If they found tons of pills, prescription or otherwise at the scene, this would be the story. That would be the story. Had they been fighting pit bulls in the basement? Had he been having gang rallies out his home? Had they found a bunch of gang paraphernalia, gang regalia? Had they found boxes of bootleg cigarettes? That would be the story. But no, the story is they paid this young lady's family $12 million. And one of the 3 officers who was facing arraignment has now been charged officially with wanton endangerment. Maximum of 5 years in prison and a $10,000 roughly fine. I don't give a damn if I sound like a broken record tonight. What the hell is going on in this country? What in the world is going on in America? What happens to a dream deferred? What happens when that caged bird stops singing? What happens to that raisin in the sun fester, waiting, not sure what life has to offer at this point, not sure how to move forward, not sure where to turn, not sure where to go. What the heck is that person's life like now? I say that because that is the way millions of people in this country are now feeling. We are all reeling from the loss of life that's been going on this entire summer. This entire year has been insane. This entire year has been entirely too tragic. This entire year has been entirely too tragic. It's your boy Phantm Fuego. This is his ghetto point of view. We bring you the news, views, previews, and reviews with just a twist of his ghetto point of view. Shouts to the people at Anchor.fm. You can also catch us on Spotify, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Republic, Overcast. I think I said Overcast already. If I did, I apologize. And several other places where dope. Amazon Podcast, Alexa. You can listen through your Alexa. Wherever dope podcasts are streamed, shared, listened to, learned from, evaluated, criticized, critiqued, wherever that happens, his ghetto point of his ghetto point of view is there. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Wednesdays we get to it. Sundays we do it best. Wednesdays and Sundays you can catch us here. This is what we do. For those who didn't catch us this past Sunday, I had an amazing interview with Shauna J. Currently digital marketing over at Atlantic Records, working with some of the top artists in the game right now. She gave a beautiful class explaining to us her job, what she does, her roles, her responsibilities, the grind that it's taken for her to get there, all the networking, all the other positions that she's had to hold in training for this new adventure in her life. Also, the side role that she's been playing as a anchor and TV on-air personality at BET. She recently got to interview Master P and Irv Gotti as they told their life stories. Shouts to Shauna J. Make sure you tune into that episode. That was a really dope one. All the episodes been amazing so far. Shouts to all the amazing guests that I've had on so far. Got a really dope guest coming on for you guys tonight. This is his ghetto point of view. It's your boy Phantm Fuego. Not understanding what's going on in this country right now. Not understanding how they want people to live collectively with a spirit of brotherhood, with a spirit of sisterhood, with a spirit of community, with a spirit of humanity, with a spirit of commonality, with a spirit of community, with a spirit of neighborhood, with a spirit of family. A nationwide family, a citywide family, a statewide family, a citywide family, a neighborhood-wide family, a development-wide family, a block-wide family, a building-wide. Like, how do they want people to live in harmony and unity as these things occur? I mean, what are they really talking about? It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't understand how they think that this is going to work. I don't know how they think this is going to work. I'm gonna jump into a break real quick. Bring on our guest. You guys are amazing. Yeah, we back, guys. We back. So, unfortunately, in the Bronx, this morning there was a 8-year-old girl shot. Police reports say she was shot in the stomach, and around 143rd Street on the east side, in the South Bronx. There's no suspects, no descriptions, no IDs. It's just a 8-year-old girl that's been shot multiple times in her own home. What is going on in the world? What is going on in the world? What is going on in the world? I wish that child have a speedy recovery. I hope no one else was hit in the melee and the crossfire. I hope little girl makes it. Patterson apartment complex in South Bronx, 143rd Street area. She was immediately rushed to the hospital, according to police reports. No witnesses. A little girl was shot in her home, and there are no witnesses. No descriptions. What the I understand there's a street code, and you know what I mean? People want to handle things with street justice, and I'm sure that the people who know this young girl are ready to retaliate and know who exactly hit this little girl in the stomach with multiple gunshots. But a little 8-year-old girl is not a gangbanger. She may be affiliated with a gang member. She may have a mother, a father, a granddad, an uncle, or aunt, cousins, older siblings who may be involved in some type of gang life or in the drug trades, what have you, or maybe not. But she herself at 8 years old, what did an 8-year-old do? What did an 8-year-old do to now be fighting for her life in the hospital? After she started her day like any other day, thinking that she was going to have to go to some crappy remote learning, some horrible remote schooling, probably just playing or watching a cartoon, or already involved in learning because it was around 9 in the morning, reports off. Had the schools been open, that little girl wouldn't have got hit like that. But because now we're in a situation where children are home, the children are in danger just being in their own home, and no one's going to say anything about it. No one's going to speak up on behalf of this child. No one is going to make this situation right. There will be more violence. There will be more bloodshed. More children may lose their lives in retaliation for this little girl getting shot in her stomach. And again, there's no report yet that she lost her life, just that she was tragically shot in the stomach multiple times this morning. And again, I really, really hope she makes it, because if she doesn't, and you have a bunch of people who don't want to involve law enforcement and want to take care of it themselves. That is a recipe for a very, very tragic winter. And with everything else already going on, COVID, civil unrest, right now in Coney Island section of Brooklyn, there's a rally for Breonna Taylor already starting to occur. The level of civil unrest that potentially can happen right now. This country is a powder keg. This country is a powder keg. This country is a powder keg. A ticking time bomb. A container of dynamite. A large barrel of explosives, and the fuse is getting short. The fuse is getting short. What are we supposed to do when a little girl's life can be snubbed out like that? When an older young lady's life can be snubbed out like this? It makes no sense. We don't value life like we should. We do not value life like we should. And no, that doesn't mean that there aren't things you're willing to die for. Of course there are. There are things that I would lay down my life for right now. Family, freedom, equality, justice. There are things I would lay my life down for right now. Because as Martin Luther King said, if you have not found a reason to die, you do not deserve to live. If you have not found a reason to die, what good are you? How do you deserve life? Or as they would say in the good book, they did not love their lives to the death. I'm not sure how we move forward from this point. What I do know is things will never be the same. And that can be a positive or a negative. Things will never be the same. This state, we will not remain in much longer. Things will never be the same, guys. This is a moment in history where everything is up for change. This is a moment in time where things will be completely topsy-turvy. I don't know how this is gonna all shell out, but what I know for certain is it's going way down. It's going way down. It's going way, 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 way down. What I mean by that is something big is on the horizon. Something huge is on the horizon, guys, or a series of huge events. You can feel it in the air. You can feel it in the air. You can hear it in my voice. I can feel it in the air. You know what I'm saying? Shout to Beanie Siegel. Can you feel the Grim Reaper floating? Foul preacher quoting scriptures from Revelation. Talking about you got the devil waiting. Body all lift up, soul levitating. Why do I speak blasphemy? Hoping that my boys will blaspheme me. As for me, the gravity of the situation right now, guys. You can feel it. Can you feel the Grim Reaper floating? Foul preachers quoting scriptures from Revelation. Talk about you got the devil waiting. Be them same preachers that'll tell you you'll get your reward in the tomorrow. And there's a bigger judge for the whole world. Sometimes it don't feel that way, you know? Sometimes it feel like you could be like Phantm Jean, just sitting in your house, eating cookies and ice cream, watching the football game, and for some reason, you're a threat in your own home, eating cookies and ice cream, and you can be gunned down in your own home, eating cookies and ice cream. Corporate exec type. Leader in his church type. Leader in his community type. Gunned down. Phantm Jean. Gunned down. In his own home. He was the threat. He was the danger. He was the problem. In his own home, watching football, having a snack. His body didn't get cold in the ground before his family forgave the woman who took their son's life away. His body was not cold in the ground before the woman who took their son's life away was forgiven. Reports are now her lawyers are appealing, trying to get her sentence lowered. And in this time of craziness where everybody's paying attention to so many other things, I wouldn't be surprised if she's eventually free. Appeals. Right judge, right lawyer, time served. Back on the force in another few years. I wouldn't be surprised at all. She writes a book. She goes on a book tour. She becomes financially well off for taking this man's life. For sitting in his house, eating cookies and ice cream. I wouldn't be surprised that these officers in the Breonna Taylor situation write books, do a documentary, do a docudrama series, get a Netflix deal, get an Amazon Fire deal, get a Apple Movies deal, and tell the world their story of what they saw that night and how things went from their perspective. And they point fingers at people and they say why they feel they completely justified and get paid a handsome sum to do it. It's a capitalist society. Capitalism don't have emotions. Capitalism don't have feelings. Capitalism don't care. Capitalism is just about capital. It's your boy Phantm Fuego. This is his ghetto point of view, bringing you the news, views, previews, and reviews with just a twist of his ghetto point of view. Shouts to the team over at Anchor. Couldn't do anything without you guys. Shouts to the team over at Spotify. Y'all making me look bad when I say that. Spotify situation with Joey is not looking good. Anybody who's fighting the fight to bring ownership and intellectual copyrights back into the hands of the intellectuals. To put intellectual copyrights back into the hands of the intellect, of the intellectuals, whose intellect created the copyright, who wrote the copy. You gotta love those guys. You gotta secure and protect those guys. You gotta keep them safe. Anybody like Kanye, who's fighting a big fight, but sometimes we feel because people are a billionaire that they're fighting our fight. People like Byron Allen, who at the beginning of this year literally was fighting, and the end of last year was literally fighting with the Supreme Court to protect our civil rights and our ability to litigate matters. To seek justice when we feel we're being wrong. To seek fairness when we feel people are doing bad business deals with us solely because of the color of our skin. When they refuse to grant us the same opportunities solely because of the color of our skin. When they refuse to give us the same support systems solely because of the color of our skin. Or our religion. Or our creed, or our nationality, or our agendas. When they refuse to do those things because of you being black, you being Mexican, you being Native American, you being Dominican, you being Haitian, you being from Puerto Rico, you being Colombian, Peruvian, Brazilian, Ecuadorian. When people refuse to do things for you because of where you're from, who you are, things you have no control over, they should be held accountable. They should be held to task. When people take your life away because a management company and a development team deemed your location prime real estate and worked in conjunction with the police task force to remove unsavory elements, to raise the property values, and to get people up out of those homes, allegedly. When people work in conjunction like that and people's lives are lost, they should be held accountable. These police did not operate alone. That police precinct did not operate alone. The police in these situations never operate alone. They are all operating in concert with their higher-ups, who are operating in concert with their higher-ups, who will probably be operating in connection with the local politicians, who will be operating with politicians from a region or state legislator. There's always a big trail of people responsible. The trail of tears always leads back up. The trail of tears always leads back up. It's Phantm Fuego. We're going to jump into some music real quick. Let's get out of here. We'll be right back, guys. Cheers. Hello.
Peace.
Peace to the God. What's going on, Black Dot?
What's popping?
All is well, sir. How are you? Thank you so much for your time today, brother. I know you're, extremely busy getting to it, and I really appreciate you taking a moment out of your busy schedule.
Now, I appreciate you guys having me. We were supposed to get this done, and now we're finally in a position to get it done. So that's what's up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's so funny. My queen was just saying they probably won't let you two guys talk unless you have a white handler on. It's probably gonna break up again. I was like, no.
Peace to the queen, you know?
So I'm just happy that everything is working.
Trust me.
But how are you, good sir? How's everything going? First and foremost.
Everything is great, man. You know, we're trying to stay busy, you know, trying to move this thing along as much as we can. You know, so it's been a great journey. You know, I'm having so much fun just working with all my children, putting myself in position to you know, be of service to them more than anything else. So it's really been a great journey.
Yes, sir. And definitely with that being said, shouts to the family. Definitely shouts to your son Dotson who does the show with you, aka Malcolm. Shouts to his success with his book and his endeavors and setting up people for professional development, consultations, and consulting. I know you guys are going to end up being some of the best in the business when it's all said and done in that realm and any other of these ventures that you guys are putting out there. So, when you guys scream urban excellence, you're not just talking about it, y'all living it. And, so it's very inspirational to the rest of us out here in the community. So I definitely wanted to say thank you so much for, what you guys continue to do. And, y'all walk and live the math, as they say.
Much respect. That is much respect. We appreciate it because that's the goal is to you know, inspire and you know, get others on their feet to let them know they could do this as well. And so we're definitely fortunate to be in a position to do so.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for those that may not know, if you don't mind, good sir, please if you could run down a bit of your background, let people know, your from your illustrious career in the industry, to the authorship and different. I mean, you can give yourself an introduction much better than I could.
Yes, I chose the name Black Dot. Recording artist since the 80s. Was on B-Boy Records in 1988. Released an album called Tall, Dark, and Handsome. But prior to that, grew up near Cedar Park, the birth of hip hop, or one of its origins. And it's been quite a journey learning hip hop firsthand from the elders who did it, and then taking a great interest in it. And from that point on, just studying the culture, getting involved, putting out my own records. I became the hype man for Tim Dog, so he was doing the whole F Compton thing. We toured the world, so that gave me a global perspective on what hip hop was and how it was affecting the world around us. Then at a certain point, I came home. I had my set. Malcolm was my queen at the time was pregnant with Malcolm, so I made a decision that I needed something a little bit more stable. So I started working for transit for about, from that point, but I still had an interest in the culture. So I started going to these lectures with Dr. Phil Valentine, Bobby Hammett, Steve
Shout to the elders. Shout to the elders. Yes, sir.
elders, and it gave me a front row seat on just how valuable the information they had to offer. But my challenge was now, how do I translate these secret sacred scrolls into hip hop? So that led to Hip Hop Decoded, and from there, journey, touring and traveling, doing colleges, doing cities, doing dates, and I still love music. So every now and then I drop a musical project, and so I'm an author, I'm a writer, I'm a poet, I'm a dad, I'm an MC, I'm all of those things. And overall, I'm a teacher. So I'm glad to be here on your platform to share what little bit I do know and have with the people.
You are a very humble servant of the people, King, and I like for real. That's the things you've done are so amazing, and but you keep it so humble, and you keep your energy so authentic, and you're very reachable for the people, and that's much appreciated, man. In addition, I mean, you also granddad now. Shout out to Noble, and definitely blessings to the new arrival. That's a beautiful thing to keep the energy going on into the future. That's beautiful. I'm happy he's healthy and and safe and out here rolling over now. So, you know, that's a beautiful thing. That's, you know, the blessings to the young king.
Absolutely, man.
That's,
Was super excited about
yeah.
granddad. Absolutely.
That's excellent. But yeah, you probably don't even remember, but like I was telling you, when I had hit you up initially, the first time I actually got to speak to you briefly so many years ago was when you had physical copies of the hip hop book and you gave me a copy. And when I say number one, I was super appreciative because you barely, and like, but that it only made sense with as the more I would speak to P more and Filth more about you, Red and Blue, shout to the gods. You know, it only made sense with, you know, that's just how you manifest and how you give love and how you show improve and how you're trying to teach, you know. So you're a teacher in every sense of the word. Like have to do that at all. And I still have that book to this day, and I go back to it and read it from time to time, like particular chapters in it. And it's just so dope that, you know, we have individuals like yourself in the community that do that. There's not enough of those, is what I'm saying. And I hate to continuously give you these flowers. So I hope I'm not embarrassing you, King, but I really appreciate people like yourself that really try to stand up for the things that the community is supposed to be about, you know, and really try to live community.
No,
And even through times like these, you know, like, so I really do appreciate that.
you. I appreciate it. I'm honored. Absolutely.
So I hope I'm not embarrassing you too much, King. And then also congratulations, because I know you guys just did the remix and the update of the Tall, Dark, and Handsome single. How was that day at the studio and everything?
That was so fun because I hadn't seen a lot of them brothers in a minute, so we all came together. Everybody in that room, I knew for 40 years plus, you know, minus one or two guys. So, you know, for years I have been wanting to honor my friend Money Ray. So, kind of like the way you're giving me these praises and bestowing these praises on me, I felt that way about him. He was one of them really good people who left us real early. You know, he didn't drink, he didn't smoke. He was a great guy, and you know, he had some issues, I guess, you know, from birth or something. And long story short, every year I kept saying, I'm gonna, you know, honor him. I'm gonna honor him. And this year I got tired of procrastinating due to the situation. We take time for granted so much. And I said, you know what?
Yes, sir.
No more time. So this year, when his birthday comes, because all three of our birthdays from Tall, Dark, and Handsome, we're all 3 weeks apart. You know what I mean? So ironic thing about how we got down. So I said, this year, I'm not gonna let any more time go by. I'm gonna honor him. And it turned into a nice little jam session. We didn't get the song done that night because, as you see, everybody was partying and having a good time. I was high for 3 days, you know. So me and my man Tall, we had to go back in the following Sunday with no crowd, just me and him, and actually record the song. And it came out dope. His mother and his his sisters and his family that's still surviving, his children, they loved it. So I felt really good that we put a little respect on his name. And so I rest easy a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's excellent. That's excellent. That's really dope. That's really dope. So I mean, in addition to that, of course, you guys have the Urban X podcast, and how has it been transitioning over to that, and especially in these times, I guess that platform has become so essential, and people being able to keep up with the news and get it from a different perspective. How do you guys balance doing all of the shows you do and keep informative, keeping it spicy, and bringing the people that medicine that's informative and funny at the same time, but also making us think and hitting us in the head, like, you know, like they did our brother Hiram once, like spook. But like, how do y'all balance all of that with putting out such an array of content so frequently?
Well, that's all. This started with I was doing Eli's first, And he had,
Shout to Eli. Shout to Eli. He got the sports show. Yes.
so it was a little bit more laid back for me. I didn't have to get into character or do too much teaching. I just had to pretty much set the platform for Eli to, express himself. And then Malcolm became interested. So, I'm a hermit in reality. I'm very introspective. You know what I'm saying? I'm a introvert, should I say. So, but I couldn't be an introvert and help Malcolm with his show. That just wasn't going to work. So,
right.
I developed this character where I could get out here and I can have fun and let Malcolm present you the stories, but let me try to breathe life into them in a way that I can put the medicine inside the food, not get our show canceled. Because I had we went through a lot of every have a meeting because he thought I was trying to show canceled. I wasn't. Do things one way, you know what I mean, and that's give it up. So I had to learn how to, mask it in so much comedy. Plus, I've been funny my whole life. I like making people laugh. I like keeping things light. So I just embrace the role, and so now that's what I do. I don't know what he gonna bring this week when the show starts. I have no idea. You know what I mean? He gonna bring subjects. He's gonna try to present them in the news way, and I'm gonna be looking for to make people laugh and have a good time. Unless I'm in a teaching moment, so I will go in and out. I'm teaching, so I don't want people to think I'm a goofy. I just play one on TV. So, and the greatest part about this is I don't like traveling. So when Red Pill and Blue Pill and they're traveling the country, they're young and vibrant. I've been there, done it. I do that no more. So this really
shout to the God.
Right, yeah. Shout out to the gods. This really worked for me because I don't have to go nowhere. I just go into my living room and have a good time. So this for me, and we've been turning it into something really amazing,
Right. No, absolutely. And it's educational, it's informative. I mean, you guys not only, you guys are walking and living the math, and I mean that with all the flowers I can throw. Because I mean, from the commercials and just the way you guys offer your and avail your services and your platform to other Black businesses and allow them to you'll throw jokes for them in there, so it's not even like you're just playing commercial, but you'll even incorporate them into the show and then highlight their comments so when they're interactive and they're being incorporated. So you're hitting people from so many angles, and it's really an ingenious like.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it.
And I mean, was that always how you guys envisioned it coming together, or like did that just kind of
it just
cultivate over
developed
time?
that way because this character that I'm playing is who I am every day when the cameras are off or on. My children know I walk around the house just having fun and laughing all day long. And I think it's what keeps me, young and vibrant and healthy. So it wasn't, me and Malcolm are not putting on an act. This is who we are. It's just that now that the camera's rolling, we just letting it rip. And it just turned into this show where it's a father and son. I do some teaching, I do some learning, I do some performing, and it's really great. And I'm glad people have received it as well as they have, because it inspires me to stay focused and now realize that this is bigger than me and Malcolm. This is about the people who really look toward us and for us to deliver a message twice a week.
Absolutely. Well, yourself even more times, because you also have the Hulk series, which to me is even sometimes I would argue more impactful, because people are allowed to give you direct personal questions, and you really have time to delve into things that can really possibly alter a person's day, week, or even how they see things going forward. Did you always see yourself in that type of healer, like life coach role, or was that also something that developed over time
I've
with
always
how
been
life
one who
changes
people
and
would
things
come
just
to
flow?
for advice. I just never looked at it as
That's a
life
fact.
coaching per se. But the Hulk became important to me because it's no fluff.
Mm.
It's not me performing. It's really me getting directly at people and trying to answer a question or two for them to the best of my ability. And it's important that that show, so you get to see three different elements of Black Dot.
Mm.
On Eli's show, I host, I'm just talking sports. It's very light. I keep it that way. On the Hulk, it's direct. I'm
Right.
answering questions. Then on the Urban X podcast, I get to
Mm.
put it all out there and perform. So and that's important for me because if you only watch the podcast and you think I'm a racist or you think I'm off the edge, and me. But then if you watch the Hulk, you go, okay, I see this brother can get serious on some issues. Then when you're tripping in with my son, and now him and his
Yeah,
best friend, and they both
absolutely.
have cerebral palsy, and I'm there just to steer them. That's the humanity side of what I do, because we're all multifaceted in who we are. It's just that a lot of people
Mm.
get an opportunity or create the necessary
Yes,
platforms
sir.
to show it all. So this is important for me to be in this light and
Mm.
then give people a peek behind the curtain to see how me and the overall family get down. It's just really been a great ride, and this platform has opened me up, man. It's been therapeutic for me just as much as it's been therapeutic for people watching.
No, that's definitely beautiful, and you could tell that you really love what you do, and I think that energy, it literally pops through the screen, it pops through the speakers, and people really could connect with it on multiple levels, as you said. And I think that's what makes the show special, and that special combination, I think, can only continue to grow because I don't think you can ever run out of authenticity, and if putting yourself out there in a true form of like the classic comedians like the Richard Pryors and etc., where you giving people medicine, but you also making them laugh, and because you might hit them with a gut punch, but you'll hold them while that gut punch coming, so they don't fall out. I think that combination is really what we need in these times, and that's so excellent.
Thank you. And
You do
because
it, you do it
sometimes we take
masterfully.
things
You're
too
brilliant at it.
serious, we still have to live, we still have to laugh, have to love. In the process
Yes, sir.
of us growing,
Mm.
all of these things are important. So that's why I try to bring it across that way. But when there's a moment to get serious and there's something really serious, I know how to straighten up and get serious on this and get this topic across so that we don't get lost, in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, I don't know if you saw recently an article NBC posted where they were referring to there's two HBCUs who I guess are the first of many to come that are the presidents of the schools have offered themselves up into the new vaccination trials for the COVID creation and are prompting their student bodies to do the same. Um,
I
I hate to
saw
put you
that,
on the spot, but I'd
and
love to know
we're
your
going to see a
thoughts.
lot more of that because they have to try to get us, locked in and on code with what they're trying to do. But what they're failing to realize now, King, is the awakening is so prevalent at this moment that more and more people across all genres, age groups are just starting to question the vaccine and its validity. And when you begin to question, at least the neurons in your brain fire off differently. And once you begin to question, now you need answers. So I think the state of the people is different than what it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, where we'd have just all lined up and said, bet, this is right. But they will be able to pay some, persuade some people to try to move in that direction. And if you go back to Bill Gates and his wife's statement that Black people must take this first, so it would only make sense that they would try to go to some of the HBCUs, which are filled with Black people, and try to get them to line up. So I'm going to keep a close eye.
Oh no!
What happened? I ain't touched nothing.
I guess we saying things without the white handlers around. I apologize. I don't want to cause any technical difficulties. Just
We,
asking questions.
we back.
Yes, sir. We back. Oh, okay. But yeah, that is definitely something to keep an eye on, as you said. And oh man,
Yeah,
that's a fun. Yeah. And just to continue on in the spirit of life, also imitating life. I know. I had also briefly mentioned to you. I don't know if you recall that there's a couple films that have recently dropped. Some independent films, also some Netflix sponsored films that have kind of been speaking to the times and the simulated scenarios of outbreaks and needing for medication, recover and recuperate from said issues. And one, the darkest minds, had the children all being mandated medication,
mm,
we'll say, and and after they were mandated this medication, about 90% of all these school age children passed away. And as the film was starting and it was being narrated by this young black girl, who to me kind of represented the darkest of minds, kind of as a play on words with the title. Um, she was she was like how 90% of her classmates passed away, 90% of all the kids passed away, tons of the parents passed away, and the kids who were left were locked in internment camps, given different color coded costumes, color coded like jail uniforms, and like with the different colors signifying what type of powers they had and their danger or threat level. But the kids who were deemed the most dangerous immediately killed when they went to their doctor's visit after they were brought to the internment camp. And so yeah, it was crazy because like the kids who had like the power to manipulate others' minds were deemed the most dangerous, and they wanted to immediately eradicate them if they couldn't get them under their control. And like you had kids who spit fire, kids who like had massive strength. It was, and they were all color coded.
that's
Um,
great.
but this young lady, she ended up being the strongest, and she actually got to survive and be one of the few kids who had the mind manipulation to grow up and get older. Because they were killing off all of them. I believe they were the green colored kids.
Mm.
And yeah, it was crazy. And so she survives. She gets older in the film. She's an older teen in the internment camp. She ends up escaping with some other kids of different colors. The long and short of it is, as they get to the end, she finds another kid who's also still a green, this white boy, but he's using his green to kind of like rob stuff and like kind of manipulate the whole scene. And at the end, she has to kill him off because he still is secretly working for the whole government and was actually hired to try to bring her in and bring everybody that was escaping back so they could keep testing them. But he was actually pretending to be a outhouse and a safe haven for the kids that was running away. It was crazy. It was,
Man,
but she ends up, yeah, she ends up getting him out of there at the end. But just speak to the fact that they would put this in the art now at this time. Like this film just dropped this year, and that the medications could wipe out a bunch, but then the ones who stay are the ones they're really scared of because they get these insane enhancements.
well, the medications and the vaccines for years have been suspect. 20, 30
Yes, sir.
shots. When I grew up, you got 2 or 3 shots. That was it. Now it's 30 and 40 shots, which means they're trying to suppress something. So imagine our children already, aligning themselves to awaken spiritually, but they're trapped inside of their own bodies based on these vaccines that won't allow their DNA to come online. So unless you really giving our kids 40 to 50 shots because they love them, now that wouldn't make any sense to me. You know, dealing with. So you understand fully that this is done so that certain DNA, certain aspects of your DNA don't come online, because if they allow our children just to blossom collectively. Now, we do have a few children who don't get vaccinated, but when you allow the herd body as a collective not to get vaccinated, these children begin to align mentally, spiritually, and psychopathically to where they can do some amazing things. So when you see these movements in place, remember, this is their place of sorcery. This is how they perform their.
Yes, sir.
to bring things into reality, and we all focus on these movies, and we don't know a lot of times, unless your psychic antennas are up, you are participating in bringing something that is REEL and making it REAL, and then and that's all. That's just how they do it. They fuse the two, and they also convey messages for the initiates to know what time it is. So it's a really deep process with Hollywood and movies and how they do them. But vaccines, I know for a fact, it's just impossible. On one end, you talk about population control, and you're trying to get rid of us, but yet you're going to help us by giving us 40 and 50 shots. Something is not adding up. So I know, and this be for older people. That's why I only had 3 or 4 shots growing up. The time has changed. Right. So if we're moving into 5th dimension from 3rd dimension, then they have to suppress that as much as possible. And I think more of that is going on than anything else.
Wow. Yeah, the timing is, I guess, right on time. If
yes,
you've been following along with their game plan, as you've said so eloquently so many times on Urban X, they've just been moving us right along and right down the pipeline, and they keep our attention where they want it until the time is ready for them to put it where they need it to be.
Yes, sir.
I mean, just wow. Just wow. Speaking of which, though, because it's when you get a chance, you should. There's also one on Netflix called Freaks, which spoke to the opposite of what you exactly said, that they were giving them the shots, they were being administered by their therapist, and it was in fact to keep the stuff suppressed. And once they stopped taking their regular medications on a regular basis, their power started to come out of their body. And it was all these people with low-level jobs, like fast food restaurant workers, gas putters in the people that worked at the gas stations, etc., and all these different powers. And so it's just the fact that all of these collectively seem to be now what they're producing and distributing at such a mass level. Just it all speaks to what you're exactly saying, that we're all a part collectively of the bringing this in.
Yes.
And so yeah, absolutely.
I don't get enough time to watch a lot of these movies because we busy. But when we go on vacation, I'm gonna catch up on a few and just kind of bring myself up to speed on what it is that they're doing.
No, absolutely. It's just so crazy that they just collectively all dropped them at the same time, and it's they don't do anything on accident, of course. So, but I'm preaching to the choir with that. So I just wanted to get your observation with that. But I appreciate that, as always. Spot on. That was definitely a masterclass film breakdown. But to switch up a bit, have you been keeping up with what's been going on in the bubble at all? Your thoughts on any of the bubble action and who you like coming down the pipe?
Well, yeah. Somebody sent me a very interesting link about Kobe's journey in 2009. Right? He had to beat the Rockets in the 2nd round. He had to Denver in the Western Conference Finals, and he got his title in Orlando, beating Dwight Howard. And as you see his journey in the bubble, he beat the Rockets in the 2nd round. He'll probably beat Denver. And then if he does win the title, it will be in Orlando. So the synchronicity of the 11-year, because that was 11 years ago. So we're dealing with the number 11. Remember, we're dealing with portholes. So and then for Dwight Howard to be on the Laker team now, and he lost the title that year, just adds to synchronicity. It doesn't add to conspiracy theory, but it makes you go, that's interesting.
What? Wow.
It's not.
I got to check that out. I hadn't seen that.
Oh yeah, it's not always a conspiracy, but the synchronicity is enough to raise your awareness that that's kind of interesting. So, and then remember, the King's theory has been going on since Beyonce dropped Black is King. And then
Yes, sir.
Nas came with, King.
The King's Disease.
Then
Yes, sir.
went with Is That Your King with our man Chadwick Boseman going out. And then the hottest group in the game right now in hip hop and Griselda, Conway the Machine dropped From King to God. And now we have the whole all of this under the guise of Corona, which means crown, which could all come to a head if LeBron is restored as king. You know what I mean? So he come back and acquire the kingdom because remember he was sick. He was injured last year. They were crowning Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he had the crown on his dashboard with the commercials. So LeBron James ascending back to the kingdom is what we're seeing in real time. And unless something really bizarre happens, I don't think nobody's going to stop him.
No, absolutely not. And it's so crazy that you say that because I also do a little bit of hip hop myself, and I recently released a single around the same time where R.I.P. to Chadwick Boseman around Jackie Robinson Day, called King Speaks, also known as Dream Flowing, where kind of like I was doing a play on words on the Martin Luther King. If I could have a dream too. So listen to this King Speaks on my little Martin Luther flows that's trying to bring the world beats. And yeah. And I had no idea.
Are you coming in and out?
And I know I'm sorry, I said I dropped it on 8/31 the weekend of the Jackie Robinson. I believe he was 8/28. It was 8/28 Jackie Robinson Day, right?
Yes. That's dope. That's dope.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it was so crazy. Then when I saw everything happen, I mean, speak to that though? Does that happen? Do people kind of like pick up on things in the air, and if they're so inclined, or if they chamber might shoot it out around that time without even knowing that that's collectively what's the energy that's in the air?
That's a very interesting question because this script is being written on so many levels. So the occultists and those who use death by numbers and all of this, they have a very intricate way that they make these things happen. So it becomes very it's mystifying how they do it sometimes. And even if it's just synchronicity, then somebody else of a higher level of the architect is writing this into script because it's too many anomalies for this to be haphazard. So when you think about Jackie Robinson Day when it was supposed to be, and then they moved it, and just so happens that Chad Boseman dies on that day, that's weird. You know what I mean? And then remember the week before you Kobe's Day.
Too much. Right. Yes, sir.
Stuff happened within the same time, and it's just weird. So I'm always baffled on how precise it is, and then I'm always baffled on what kind of energy are we dealing with where these people can manifest this stuff in real time and make it happen. And why are they making it happen? See, for us, it's just, oh man, somebody we love died and this and that. But for what purpose? What narrative are they writing of a story that we don't even understand because we're the characters? This is some Truman story, Truman Show shit on a grander scale. Or what do they have to do so that when this story,
Truman Show shit,
now 500 years from now, how do you tell that story? It becomes a mythology around something that we didn't even know we were participating in. Shit is strange, man. Shit is real strange.
Thank you so much. I have that insight and that perspective to that because I didn't even. You definitely dotted some T's and dotted some I's and crossed some T's for me, and I appreciate that. And like you say all the time, the truth is sometimes stranger than fiction, and sometimes as we see these things more clearly as the year unfolds and just as life unfolds. You know, the truth is definitely stranger than fiction on a lot of levels. Sometimes it's so impossible to perceive. But who was it that said this is? I can't remember who was it that you probably know, good brother. Who was it that said it? The harder it is for us to perceive it, the easier it is for sometimes for them to achieve it because we don't even think on that level
I
that they
made
could
that
be getting
statement.
those things done.
It's
Okay, there you go.
true.
Appreciate.
Easier than achieve,
Yes, sir. Yes,
achieve,
sir.
perceive
Yeah, it
beyond what
is.
CNN is telling us. You know what I mean? So they can lay it all out and make it happen in real time, man. It's something to behold, man. So we're in a unique time where if your antennas is up, not even both your antennas, you can have one antenna up and be able to receive transmissions that go, wow, this is crazy. And so now they're getting ready to move into another phase with this corona stuff. So, we're gonna see how all of this plays out.
Mm, definitely. I appreciate that. One more thing before you go, can I ask you some hip hop stuff real quick?
Take your time, man. Let's shoot for it.
You know, you being oh, I appreciate that, good sir. Thank you so much. Um, it seems that the mumble energy
Uh-huh.
kind of it. Well, I personally am a fan of all types of music, and I love it. You know, I definitely understand why. Um, I personally, that energy is kind of phasing out a little bit more, and there's some more lyrical music coming back into the forefront. Do you personally see that
I think
yourself? And if
Griselda is
so, that's
trying
happening
to.
right now. Do you think it has to do with the fact that we're more home,
Could
or
be, could be. I think Griselda is trying to is nostalgic in the sense that these guys are damn near my age, and they're fighting to restore historical perspectives because they're doing all of these collabos with Sadat X from Brand Nubians, from the Wu Tang Clan, UG Rap. They're reaching back
yeah,
and bringing back that essence of it. And they're battling against a new energy of youth who feel that it's more about the rhythm than it is the actual words. So this generation is more in tune rhythmically, you know what I mean? Whether it's through psychedelics or whatever they do. So they're more about the way they feel, where my generation was more about how can we articulate cleverly mean how things are. So it's two different
right.
battles going on. I love it all. You know what I mean? So as long as some of that little baby in them do is hot as shit,
hmm
it's just
hmm
fire. You know what I mean? So I'm with the
Yeah,
yeah. And people
absolutely,
got on my case when I be bigging them
absolutely.
up. It's just I'm not pandering. It's that I don't want to get locked into a frequency because I know a lot of dudes my age, they only listen to boom bap and they're fighting to, if it ain't the boom bap. And I'm like, that's cool. But just as the world continues to evolve, we have to evolve with it. Lost the codec for boom
Soul of
bap
music,
and all of that. But as we
man.
evolve, this is how we grow. Or you can stay stagnant and die and be looked upon by the new generation as some has-beens, you know what I mean, who have nothing to offer. Or you can just kind of be in the mix and understand that it's all relevant because it's all creative energy to some sort. Now, I do understand these small hats who sit at these labels who
Mm.
have an agenda to dumb things down and to only have us talking about specific things that could be us. I'm hip to that. But within all of that, there's still the fact that we have the ability to create.
Yes, sir.
We have the
Yes, sir.
ability to drop them shit pellets. We have it's just an ongoing process. And we're still in control of the creative aspect as long as we want to be.
Mm. Absolutely, absolutely. Are you a fan of
Who?
YBN no more, but the young kid Corday, who he kind of Corday, YBN Corday. He used to be YBN, but they broke up that whole
What's his
that
name?
YBN group, and he just goes Corday now, I guess.
Not familiar.
Corday, Cordae, young kid, but he's definitely he's got
Oh,
some
okay.
balls
Well,
though. He
send me
definitely
his
got some
links
balls
so
though,
I
but he
can check
puts it
him
over
out.
the newer trap beat. Nah, definitely
Oh,
will.
okay.
He's
I'd love
dope.
to check
He
it
got
out.
a new
I
joint with
like
Roddy
Roddy
Ricch
Ricch too.
called Gifted. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you did you see when they just were breaking down the professor from Berkeley, how Roddy Ricch makes his harmonies and stuff, and how that actually does. It's not it's not just all fun and games. That actually does take a little bit of technical savvy, and
Your phone is breaking up a little bit.
Roddy Ricch and 1500.
Hello? Peace.
Peace. Yeah, sorry about that, good
Limit.
sir. But yeah, so I was
I said,
saying.
I think it's a 20
I'm
minute
sorry,
limit
guy.
on
What were you
that thing
about to say?
because that was the second time we got to the 20-minute mark and they shut me out.
Yeah, I think you may be right. I think there's like a 20, or 25 on it. I gotta double check this thing. But definitely appreciate your time once again, good sir. And what I would just to follow up, I was saying about how there's a professor from Berkeley School of Music, Prince Charles Alexander, who's worked on a ton of big records, and he does a ton of teaching at Berkeley now. And Genius, the people that like go over people's lyrics, they had him break down Roddy Rich's new stuff for his like for the box and different, and like how he lays his melodies and his chords, and he was breaking it down, on the piano, the different octaves and the ranges that Roddy goes into, and that it takes, it's not just fun and games, though he may be doing that freestyling in the moment. He's been doing that so long that he may not musically inclined he actually is, and how he's really getting into some amazing musicality in these projects, especially in his choruses. And he actually I don't know if you watch Tiny Desk, but he did a performance with 1500 and nothing, like the production team, and he really plays like keys and stuff. Like, he's dope. Like, so I think sometimes the mumble artists get a bad name, or these new age rappers kind of get a bad name when they maybe actually be very musically inclined, but they just doing what works for
Absolutely. And
what works
remember,
for them.
a lot of the technical scientific aspect, we don't deal with that. We deal with spirit. So we can go in and years later, people can come behind and scientifically show you what we was doing, but we're just doing it. It's natural to us. So for them to be in Berkeley breaking down his methods and this and that, when he probably just go in on the field, he has an understanding of what he wants and how to manifest. But all that technical stuff, we don't really deal with that. You know what I mean? We play by ear. We ear.
You know, think about it in the moment. In it.
So absolutely,
Yes,
I like
sir.
Roddy Rich's stuff.
Nah, definitely. It puts a good feeling. Even
But the way he brings it across,
thought provoking on the energy.
Yeah, gang. Thanks so much to the Black Dot for pulling up and rolling through. It's definitely a dope interview. Definitely looking forward to chopping it up and building with the brother again. I do apologize for the technical difficulties. Anchor, y'all gotta get it together. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm telling y'all, man, one thing's for sure, two things for certain. I will not keep going through this with this platform. We'll get up out of here in a minute. Promise you that. My people need the news, views, previews, and reviews without all the technical delays. So, Definitely apologize for the technical delays, gang, but there was still a lot of great, amazing content, still a great conversation, and we definitely gonna have the part 2 coming up soon. This is His Ghetto Point of View, where we bring you the news, views, previews, and reviews with just a twist of His Ghetto Point of View. Got a ton of more stories I was supposed to get into today, but this Breonna Taylor situation is so sad that it did take up a bulk of our today's podcast. Because, I mean, we had to talk about it. The Kenosha shooter is facing 2 counts of murder. The young kid, Kyle Rittenson, is facing 2 counts of murder. While also simultaneously, reports are a Texas high school made their kids do a report on him being a hero. And that outraged a lot of parents. So it's just interesting that right after that thing, he was... So I guess I wonder now how that school is going to justify making their children allegedly write reports about him being a hero. Schools in Texas always figure out something interesting, so we will see how that goes. President Donald Trump agrees to deliver over $13 billion in additional aid to Puerto Rico for Hurricane Maria storm relief. Some people say it's still about 3 years too late. Some people say he's doing it just to get the votes he may need in Florida and supportive areas. But a recent CNN poll and also The Hill reported that about 30% or 1/3 of most Hispanics in Florida and surrounding areas are already planning on voting for Trump. He's got about a 27-28% voting share of those votes right now, where consequently they say 4 years ago when he was going against Hillary Clinton, he only had about a 16-17% of the Hispanic voter share in Florida. So between now and the election, if he can round that up to about 30-35%, you're talking about him taking a huge chunk out of Joe Biden's voter base in Florida. Now, when you break that down by age group, some of the younger Spanish kids vote more so Democrat, and Trump only had about a 15 to 18% share of them, but overwhelmingly over 21 to about 59 years of age are all going to vote for Trump. That's a huge part of the Hispanic population. That's working people. That's people getting in college, getting out of college, starting businesses. That's almost retirement age. So that's a wide spectrum of the population. People from at different times in their lives, people with different levels of responsibilities, people with different goals for their lives. Some people just starting lives, some people starting families, some people expanding families, some people expanding businesses, some people getting ready to retire, who are all projected to be favoring Donald J. Trump in this upcoming election for November. And they also recently started a mail-in ballots this week, in-person mail-ins, which is kind of odd. If you're in person, why not just allow them to vote in person as opposed to having to hand in a ballot in person? But I guess a proper vote counted is a proper vote counted, and I hope everything goes smooth with that, because, you know, taking people's electoral rights away, even in a time like this, is probably not a good idea, and another thing that could lead to civil unrest and, unfortunately, physical aggressive conflicts as people attack each other, and then people attack the people who may vote for the Green Party, or people who just sit out. It's truly, truly tragic what's going to happen in this country in the next couple months. And then after it's over, then what? I've heard people say, well, we have to get Trump out. And some people's argument is for that is, okay, well, Trump will be out on January 1st after his lame duck status. Or like January 3rd. Somewhere in the beginning of January, he'll be gone. Formally removed, do the walk, walking in the new president, all those things. If he actually loses the election, which some people say he won't. There's no way in heck he'll lose. And some people say he has no chance of winning. So we'll see. But it is very interesting that Biden has lost such a large share of what is normally a strong Democratic area. And you know how Joe Biden tried to get them back? It's reported that at his latest rally in Florida, he started off the rally playing... Hold up, guys. I gotta get this right. I gotta fix my voice. Despacito. That's right, gang. Joe Biden is reported to have started off his concert playing Despacito into the microphones and saying he wished he had talent like that. Oh man, hold on, guys. Let me just play this for you. And then it just started blasting across. He didn't even have like the DJ actually formally play it as a walkout track. He just took his phone out and played his phone across the microphone. Despacito. Hey, hey, hey. Despacito. What? This is a joke, right? This is an actual joke. This is not really happening. This can't be really happening. This is an actual joke. It is. It's comedy. It's comedy. And not once has Joe Biden said to the Latino population, if you guys don't vote for me, then you're not Latino. And I don't think Joe Biden would dare say that. And I don't think anyone will attack Latino voters for not voting for Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden himself has made it perfectly clear that Latino voters have diversity in their voting. And that's wonderful. They're allowed to make educated decisions and vote, not based on skin color, not based on race, not based on nationality, country of origin. They're allowed to vote their interest. Look at that. They're allowed to vote for the things that make sense for their community, regardless of the skin color, regardless of the nationality, regardless of the land of native origin. They're allowed to vote what makes sense for them at that time. Republican, Democrat, Green Party, Liberal, Tea Party, Independent. They're allowed to vote their interest. And they don't vote in blocks. They vote their interest. They vote Republican. They vote Democrat. They vote Green Party. They vote Tea Party. They vote Liberal. They vote Independent. They write in names. Not a word. That's excellent that they have diversity in the Latino community. But if the Black community doesn't vote as a block, then something is wrong with them. If the Black community does not just continue to give up votes in some people's minds, if the Black community does not just continue to offer up their services to the Democratic Party in large droves, overwhelming majority of Black voters, 18 to 85, vote Democrat. 90%, 85%, 88% of the time, all voting blue. Sometimes they see it's even higher than that, 95% of the time, voting blue. So the Republican Party knows that the Black vote won't be the vote to get them into the office. While they would like to have a large percentage of the Black vote, particularly the Black male vote, because they feel that that population is a population that is completely dissatisfied with Democrat politics. And let me tell you, as a Black male, they are not lying. They are not lying. Many of us are completely dissatisfied with Democrat politics. Some of us feel Democrat politics are completely fine, and some of us are caught in a rock and a hard place where we don't feel either of the main parties' politics are right for us, but we don't know enough about the smaller parties. We don't want to just, quote unquote, give a vote away or cast a ballot that doesn't sway the vote in one way or the other. Though you can have some people argue, well, the popular vote isn't respected anyway. The Electoral College is going to vote for who they want to vote for and justify it however they like. So while it's great to win the popular vote does not guarantee you the presidency. And in these recent years, the Electoral College has been swaying away from just following the popular vote. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote general welfare. Is any of that going on currently? Is any of that going on currently? You could argue yes. You could argue no. But therein lies the problem to me. If it's even an argument, if it's even something up for debate, if it's even up something that we can't put our finger on and tangibly say yes. Overall, overwhelmingly, black, white, blue, yellow, Puerto Rican, Haitian, Hispanic American, Asian American, Mexican American, Nigerian American, Congolese American. If you can't, Ecuadorian American, Peruvian American, if you can't put your finger on it, yes, overwhelmingly in all these communities that we are doing this, we're providing for general welfare. We're ensuring domestic tranquility. We're providing good educations. We're closing the digital divide. We're closing the wealth gaps. We're closing the income gaps. We're closing all of the opportunity gaps. Then what are people voting for at that point? Because they've historically voted a particular way, they're expected to just continue to vote that way. And it seems like when you will deviate from that, and I've been having conversations with people across the board, black, white, blue, Puerto Rican, and Asian, Jewish, Hasidic Jewish, Christian, Catholic, Baptist, agnostic, Hebrew Israelite, Sunni Muslim, Shia Muslim, Nation of Islam Muslim. I've been having conversations with people of a bunch of different walks of life, of a bunch of different belief systems, a bunch of different cultures. And overwhelmingly, I'm feeling that we're not doing the things that we set out to do in this great, beautiful, amazing land. So what are we going to do about that? How are we going to fix this and ensure that more perfect union? How do we plan on coming together to heal and to move forward and to strive to be better? Not perfect, not pristine, not without blemish. Better, civil, cordial, congenial, helpful, unified. How do we become partners in building America to be what it's always been promised to be? but unfortunately hasn't always lived up to his promises for every single citizen at the same time. What is the 4th of July to a slave? What is Labor Day to a person who can't find a job? What is Christmas to a family that can't afford presents? What is the wish of a happy new year to a person who is rock bottom down on their luck and doesn't even know if they want to see tomorrow? What is Thanksgiving to a family who can't afford a turkey or an oven to heat the turkey in? What are all these promises? What are all these lofty goals? What are all these ambitions? What are all these dreams if they will constantly just be deferred? What happens to that raisin in the sun? What happens when that cage bird stops singing? Shouts to Black Dot for coming through today, dropping us knowledge, gems, and jewels on us. Make sure you guys tune in and check out the Urban X podcast. Make sure you check out the Hulk series, Hip Hop Urban Life Coach. Make sure you check out the Disabled podcast. Shout out to his whole family. Shout out to Malcolm, Eli, Marcus, Mrs. Dotson, aka Malcolm. Shout out to the baby Noble. Shout out to the whole team over there. Shout out to Noble's moms. You know what I'm saying? Because, Malcolm can't push the baby out himself. Definitely appreciate the love and support y'all showing my part. And I can't wait till we do it again. And if you haven't, once again, please do yourselves a favor. Any artists, any people that's interested in management, any people that's interested in marketing and business and branding and brand partnerships and corporate sponsorships, check out that masterclass from Shona J. This past Sunday's episode 19. It's a good time. It's a real good time. It's your boy Phantm Fuego. This is his Ghetto Point of View. Shouts to the team at Anchor, Spotify, Radio Republic, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts if I haven't said them already, Overcast. You guys help me get out to the world. Shout to the most beautiful, most intelligent, well-spoken, not holding their tongues for nothing audience in the business. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com is where to reach me. Continue sending in your questions, your comments, your advice, your tips and tricks, your inquiries, your gifts, just showing me you care, your well wishes, your salutations. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com, guys. HISGHETTOPOINTOFVIEW. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. You guys are the best audience in the business. Please continue to tell a friend. Put on your notifications. Turn your notification bells on. Favorite the show. Continue to like it. Continue to share it out. Let people know. Wherever you listening to the show, share it to your social media network, share it to your Spotify, share it to your Twitter, share it to your Snap. Let people know his Ghetto Point of View is on. His Ghetto Point of View is on. His Ghetto Point of View is on. Wednesdays and Sundays, we do this. We do this. We do it. Hope I continue to educate, to inspire, to enlighten, to enrage when necessary, light a fire when needed, excuse me. To provide comfort, to provide understanding, to provide empathy, to provide love. Because that's all this is about at the end of the day, guys, is love. I love each and every one of y'all. I love each and every one of y'all. This world is filled with love. Don't let these people lie to you. This world is full of love. And love is the strongest thing we have out here. This world is full of love, and love is the strongest force in the world, the strongest force in the universe, the strongest force, period, and ever in existence will always be love. Love nourishes, love comforts, love helps grow, love helps bloom and blossom and continue to grow in perpetuity. Anger and hate burn out and enrage and destroy and engulf. And eventually they are gone. They are no more. Love blossoms, love blooms, love continues to grow. Love falls down and gets back up. Love has good days and bad days. But you know what? Love keeps going. I love you guys. I love you guys. We're going to be great. We live in abundance. We live in strength. We live in positivity. We live in understanding. We live in empathy. And through that understanding and love and faith and perseverance, we will have unity. We will have a community. We will build a nation. It's our time, in the words of Paperboy Prince. Shout to him, man. 2 Vanity Fair issues, 2 Vanity Fair covers, walking in the Mark Echo fashion show, doing great things. Definitely check him out. Paperboy Prince of the Suburbs, feeding thousands of people out here in New York. He was definitely one of the dopest people to move here to the city. City wouldn't be the same without you, good brother. This is his ghetto point of view. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Peace.